There's a way to get started writing lyrics, and it may be easier than you think. By the end of this video, you're going to be full of ideas to help you get started. Now, let's quickly go over the concept for a moment. So, did you ever try to think of a word and it just doesn't come to mind? Or maybe you're telling someone a story and the word is right on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't get it out. Or maybe you're just wanting to start a conversation and you're drawing a blank. Uh, you just are stuck. If there was a word for it, I think it might be called thinker's block. Is that a thing even? I don't know. Could be. Maybe. Well, here we are right now talking about writing lyrics, and maybe you're brand new at this, and at this point, you just want to write some lyrics or some lyrics to a tune that you have, but you don't know where to start. Or maybe you're already a lyricist and you're struggling with thinker's block, as we want to call it. The thing is, what we hope to accomplish here is to push you out of the starting block, whether you're a beginner or whether you're not and you're just stuck. So let's get right to it. Let's get to step one. Now, we all know that writing in its purest form is simply putting your thoughts down on paper or a notepad, whether it's digital or paper. It all begins with this one thing: a thought. Now, the question is, where does that thought come from? How do you get to that thought? I mean, for many, it's a simple practice of just getting away from it all, getting alone, away from the distractions, and that allows the thought process to get started, to begin. For others, it may mean a lot of things going on around you. That's kind of how I am. I can have the TV on, my earbuds in, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm taking notes or I'm writing something that has come to mind that I've thought of. This is how I operate. It's good to know how you operate. So here's the thing. There's a saying by Louis L'Amour, a famous author, who said this: start writing, no matter what. The water doesn't flow until the water faucet is turned on. But the question remains, how do you turn the water faucet on? Well, there are many ways to do that. And I think that one of the main reasons and main generators of inspiration and getting started is that observation. Something to get your mind free, get your mind on something else. You're observing, and observation can release inspiration and, in a sense, turn the water faucet on. The other way is memories. Now, this has been said before, but it's a good one, and I think we should talk about it. But start writing about one of your favorite memories. Now, I get it. This is not the subject that you were hoping to write your lyrics about, but the main goal here and the point is to get started writing words. This works with writer's block as well. There are many ways to overcome writer's block, and one of them is to, well, that's one of them: observation and memories. Now, so let's review a minute. So we know that it begins with a thought, and we know a few ways to get the thought process going. We just talked about it. Well, hello, I'm Mr. Craig. That's what they call me. That's what they've always called me for some reason. I never understood it, but welcome, and let's keep going. So we've given a little bit of thought, uh, pun intended, to getting started writing lyrics. There's a few more things, though, that I think we need to discuss in a little more detail. And what we want to do is continue with the concept of observation. And why is that important? Well, it's another famous author, Orson Scott, which I really like this. He says it this way: everybody walks past 1,000 story ideas every day. The good writers are the ones who see 5 or 6. Most of them don't see any. Now, for our purposes, let's just swap out that word story for lyrics, and we can say it this way. Everybody walks past 1,000 lyric ideas every day. Our goal as writers, lyric writers, is to try and see 5 or 6 and never none. Now, that literally means you can be writing something based on observation every day. So, every day and every situation can be an opportunity for a lyric. So, now this brings me to step 2. Let's say you're out for a run, you've got your earbuds in, maybe, or headphones, and you're listening to a podcast or something, and the speaker says a word or two or a sentence that resonates with you, and you think to yourself, man, that is a great idea to start a lyric with. That's a great opportunity for a lyric. But you just keep running. And now at this point, what do you really need to do? Well, I say that you should pause the podcast or whatever it is you're listening to, open up the Notes app on your phone or text it to yourself quickly and get those words in print, even if it's digital print. Then you can go about your run. Now, even if you're one of those who can typically remember things later on, it's extremely important to write these words down now, right now. Even though you may say to yourself, I'll keep running, I got this, I've got 3 more miles to go, and I'll remember this, and I'll make a note at the end of my run. But will you now? I don't know. The point is, whether you are, if you're watching videos, if you're watching reels, TV, a movie, if you're reading something, an article somewhere, and these words come to your mind, that's the thought process getting in gear, and you need to find a way to get that thought on a notepad, on your phone, on a piece of paper immediately. But wait, there's more. Not only that thought, that's your lyric thought. That thought could be 1 word, 2 words, 10 words, however many it is, you write it down. But then you need to quickly make a note saying something like this. This is what I meant by this, or this is what I was trying to say with these words, or this is the concept behind these words that I'm thinking of. This will ensure that when you get back to those words, you'll have a trigger to get that thought process rolling again. Now, this brings me to number 3. Number 3 is kind of a little bit of a sidestep in that it's kind of another way to get the thought process started, but it's also the generator that leads to the production of words, and that's what I call the imagination gateway. It's called many things. It's just the imagination, the imagination gate. I call it the imagination gateway because it is the gateway to the world that you're trying to write about. So this one throws a lot of people off because often there are those who will say, but Mr. Craig, I don't really have an imagination. I, it doesn't really work for me. I mean, I just don't. But I say to you, you do. Now, I believe that every person has the ability to tap into their creative side. Now, I will say there are those that are they're more creative than others, but again, I say to you, you have a creative side. You have just convinced yourself that you don't. But I want you to remember and think back to when you were a child or a kid. What did you do? You played house, you played doctor, you pretended, you made stuff up. And here's the secret. You didn't just grow out of that. No matter how old you are, you just have many other things on your mind and in your life that take precedence. And you file that in drawer 3, somewhere back here in your mind. So going forward, if you want to be a writer of lyrics or even a writer at all, for that matter, you're going to have to tap into that creative imagination you had as a child. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to write nursery rhymes, unless that's your goal, and that's fine. I'm just telling you to use that process that you used in the past to expound on that thought that you've started. Hey, I want to take a second right here to remind you that this is not a comprehensive list. These are just some of the ways to get you started. Some of them are actually prerequisites, really. But in the future, we'll discuss more of those. And finally, I'm going to throw in a bonus here. And I just feel like it's an important place for this. And at this point, it's kind of a bittersweet thing, a love-hate relationship, if you will. It's very important if you want to do this. And that bonus point is commitment. Yeah. Commitment is such a big word, isn't it? I mean, but the point here is that writing lyrics takes commitment. And if you're going to get good at it, it's like a job. Yeah, there's that three-letter word that scares a lot of us sometimes, but it's work, you know? Everybody wants to avoid that at some time or another. But the reality is, it is work. It's like a job, and with work, you have to get up, you have to get dressed, have breakfast. If you do that, go to work on the days you're scheduled so you can get paid and maybe be a success. Well, writing works the same way. You have to get up, get prepared, and go to work. And you have to do it every day. Now, some writers, they'll take a day off. They'll write 6 days a week and take one day off to give their minds a break on that seventh day. But the point here is that they're writing almost every day. You can't take every other day off or take 3 days off and write one uh, and then get back to it. You're just going to get off track and you're not going to be consistent. And you need consistency, you know? And you say, why is that? Well, because once you're doing this, the process, if you continue to do it over and over, it becomes easy or easier and a little more exciting because you're thinking of new stuff every day and because it's become a part of your lifestyle. However, at this point, you still might be saying, I don't know if I can get started. It seems like a lot. It's a lot to think about, a lot to do. And to that, I say stop. Stop overthinking it. Stop wasting time because the fact that you're doing this tells me that deep inside of you, there is something, a gift that you've been given that needs to come out. And still you say, well, hasn't everything been covered? I mean, everything under the sun, as they say. Well, what I say to that is this. Maybe it has. It's quite possible that everything under the sun has been covered. But it hasn't been covered from your point of view. So what I say to you is it may be something that the world wants to hear. It may be something that the world needs to hear you. So stop wasting time. Don't delay. You got this. You have this moment in time to take that emotion that's rising up inside of you and get prepared. And remember this. This is a big one. Dream. Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. That's a quote from an Olympic sprinter, but it's appropriate here. Her name is Wilma Rudolph, if you want to look that up. Well, that's all for now. This is Mr. Craig signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. And remember this. Love boldly, dream mightily, live fiercely, and write continuously. Some of that's in an upcoming song soon. Again, this is Mr. Craig signing off. I'm out of here. Catch you later.